Anomas, I don't know how to pronounce that. For the video, instead of your usual short intro, could you and Luke discuss the importance of a good opening for, well, basically anything, including an April Fool's video in your April Fool's video? Well, intros are necessary to avoid confusion and lead the audience more comfortably into the tone, purpose, and rhythm of the video, which, thanks to your question, I completely ruined with this video. It feels uncomfortable to start a video by immediately jumping into it, like I just demonstrated with this video, or is it just me? Then again, one of the rules I had on my own Dissected series is that we rarely, if ever, have intros that last longer than 30 seconds, so to a degree I do want things to get moving quickly. There's too many video creators I know, like the Mr. Plinkett videos or Spoonies reviews that are fantastic and wonderful when they get going, but have such a long, pandering, and unpleasant long intro to get to the point that it kind of annoys me.
Something about openings for our Dissected videos? I think this is about how we usually open our videos in a comical way, like how I reference Brexit or Awakening from a Dream. In fact, I don't think we actually have our own title sequence. Could be like a parody of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with us appearing in a circle, or us swooshing side by side like Sonic and Shadow in Adventure 2, or have it like the opening to JoJo Battle Tendency with us posing like badasses.
That reminds me of a joke I did in an old animation where a show has this spectacular, energetic, explosive opening sequence. The epic action show, bam 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 boom, explosion, rock music. And then the show itself is just two dry assholes talking boringly. Another reason why I don't have an opening sequence for Dissected. Any kind of fun intro music is too energetic and exciting for our dry, boring talking show. Austin Reed, why are the Spielberg-created characters never used in modern Looney Tunes works? I don't know. I guess because Looney Tunes works are created by old fans who love the originals and want to pay them homage and don't really care about the modern incarnations. There's always something about long-running series that the original is always the one that gets the most respect, same as the new Power Rangers movie only cares about the first incarnation. But yeah, Looney Tunes Back in Action really missed a good joke opportunity when the Animaniacs didn't pop out of the Warner water tower. That could have been funny. And I guess Lola Bunny is lucky she's the only prominent female character. Well, that isn't that Granny and Daffy and Porky's girlfriends rarely get screen time. So she has special rights, I guess. Although I'm sure many people would prefer Babs Bunny or Dot Warner to take that part. But I don't know. I don't know if there's copyright reasons or something. Oh, Captain Theory.
Greetings, friends! So, Abramo kids? Wants to know my opinion on game theory, huh? Well, before I get into that, I'd like to preface by saying that I do not necessarily blame Matthew Patrick for what has happened. The man is very busy trying to get content out as quickly as possible. Above all, his channel is meant to be educational, and this means the focus is on the science. However, with this being said, he clearly puts so much time into studying the science of something that he doesn't always check to see if the science actually applies. Oftentimes, an episode is just rushed for the sake of getting out there as soon as possible. Take, for instance, one of his most controversial episodes, and the one you may be expecting me to talk about, his Sonic episode. Let's go through this. Firstly, MatPat decides to ignore information he found about Sonic's height. Rather than fact-check this number to find that it has been confirmed by Sonic Team to be exactly 100 centimeters, or about 3'3", he instead compares his height to that of Elise, without stating what his sources are for Elise's height. You can feel the irony already. Regardless, he uses this to determine Sonic's height to be about 3'7". He then applies this number to classic Sonic, who I'd like to point out is significantly shorter than modern Sonic. Already this is a big problem, but the next step is even worse. He then uses Sonic's sprite as a reference to measure Green Hill Zone Act 1, and uses the world record speedrun of 25 seconds to determine Sonic's speed. The biggest problem here is that he measures Green Hill Zone with a straight line, as opposed to Sonic's route. Now, to MatPat's credit, he later admitted that he intentionally rushed the video out in order to make a cheap shot at Vsauce, whom he feared would be a competitor. As ridiculous as this may sound, I can't blame a guy for worrying that a larger entity suddenly entering the same line of work as you might make you obsolete. Speaking of which, after the game theory video, another game scientist by the name of Austin Lockwood, aka Lockston from the channel Noggin, essentially did the same thing to him. I recommend watching his rebuttals. They do a much better job of explaining it than I can get into right now. MatPat is a pretty smart guy, but he can often overlook something so huge that all of his research means nothing, such as spending an entire episode explaining the difference between ferrous and non-ferrous metals, and which ones are used in bullets, to explain why Magneto has been shown having difficulty stopping bullets, only to completely miss the fact that all of the bullets MatPat shows him not stopping were specifically stated in the movies to be made of plastic. Not to mention, Magneto's powers have nothing to do with ferrous metals. Magneto can manipulate any metal because his powers don't actually have anything to do with metal or magnets, but of magnetic fields. Lastly, just to drive my point home a bit, MatPat did a sponsor video for the game For Honor. Wonderful game, by the way. I mentioned earlier that his Sonic video was one of his most controversial, and it firmly held that title, until this video, which has 4 times as many dislikes with only a third of the views. MatPat decided to determine who would actually come out victorious were an 11th century Viking, knight, and samurai to meet in combat. He got so much wrong that 3 specific YouTubers had to speak out against him, each one a pseudo-expert in the fields of one of the 3 types of warriors. Metatron, an expert on samurai, Shadiversity, an expert on knights, and Skallagrim, a historical Viking enthusiast. Again, I will recommend watching their videos if you have the time, as they do a much better and efficient job of explaining it than I will. Overall, I think MatPat is a well-meaning, intelligent man who doesn't always notice the metaphorical 10-foot Warriors. An absent-minded professor, if you will. What should be noted is that almost none of what he talks about should be considered canon, which is why his catchphrase is,
"That's just a theory."
Even though they're more of hypotheses until he gets them peer-reviewed, but still. Mario is not actually a sociopath, Cloud didn't actually kill Aeris, and Commander Shepard was not actually cloned. These are all just ideas he had to encourage people to think more laterally, which is exactly what we do here at Sonic Dissected. MatPat is an educator who presents science and physics in a way that is entertaining and easy to understand, using games and movies to catch people's interest and outlandish claims to hold their attention, all the while teaching them a bit more about our world. Sort of like a Bill Nye or Beakman to the next generation. I wish the best for Matthew Patrick and his channel, and look forward to seeing more from him.
As for me, I tend to think about game theory the same way as I approach a parody. It's just a fun alternative way to approach material, exploring a weird side path, so I'm never really bothered if he gets things wrong. It's just kind of fun. I love his Mario videos especially, because Mario himself is designed to be a neutral, like an empty canvas. Very little lore or emotional baggage, easily applicable in any kind of scenario or game, so having crazy theories about him works very well, I think. But that's just me. 989898878. Thoughts on the YouTuber ranter skeptics, the social justice warriors, the alt-right, and the retrograde right? Oh yes, let's talk about the alt-right and social justice warriors. Let's fucking do that, shall we? What can possibly go wrong? Just wonderful. Let's step into that minefield. Let's hit that beehive. Let's jump into that shark pool. No way that can backfire. Let's do the JonTron. Let's dance the Sarkeesian. Let's Trump the Trump. Let's PewDiePie. Nothing but wonderful civilized conversations will come from this. If you really want to know my thoughts, I'll link in the description below to an early version of this video where I did. But by many people's advice, I'm keeping it out of the main video. Not that my thoughts are that extreme, mind you, but I feel that even reading the dictionary meaning of these phrases can cause a firestorm. Zer's Editor. A dissection of La La Land. Ooh, sorry, haven't seen the movie. Not a huge fan of old Hollywood-style musicals either. Although I do like modern musicals. It is a cool name though, La La Land. Fun to say, I guess. I think this video is long enough. I'll keeping it at this, so I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Well, unless I get taken down by character assassination after this video.